my name is Vin, and today I'm going to read this book, chapter 2 of this book. Yesterday I wasn't able to make a video because, well, it was really late. Here's Unicorn Kitty. This is Ling's stuffed animal. Hi, and I'm here to listen to Ving of reading. Yeah, that's Ling's stuffed animal right here. Ling's stuffed animal. She's gonna stay here to read with us. I am watching Ving. Okay, we'll read chapter 2. Alright, go read it. Let's go. Chapter 2. Are you ready, guys? Because it's time. I shift uncomfortably. Oh, here's chapter 2. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Oh yeah, when I show you to it, it always flip backwards. The words always flip backwards. Oh yeah, I'm reading Wild Survival, Crocodile Rescue, and I'm reading chapter 2 of this book. I shift uncomfortably in my seat as the airplane captain turned on the seatbelt sign for landing. You nervous, eh? Faraday asked, looking over at me from his Ave de Cuba field guide. Oh yeah, Ave de Cuba, on the back it shows you what the meanings are. And the meaning of this word is birds of Cuba. Looking over at me from his birds of Cuba field guide. Oh yeah, Ling took her kitty back because it's her her stuffed animal cat. I wanted her to listen to me, but fine. If Ling doesn't want that her stuffed animal to listen to me, but it's fine. Field guy. He was obsessed with birds, but I could never understand the appeal. Sharks, tigers, and even crocodiles were far more interesting than chirpy birds. Faraday already had his binoculars around his neck, ready to spot some new feather friends. I rolled my eyes and looked out the window. A little. I just hope we can find the crocodile and get it back to safety to the wildlife hospital, and not spend too much time on an extra dramatic stuff. I said. No. Oh yeah, she's playing a game. She's playing a game on her iPad. I said, now able to see more of the island earlier during the flight. I overheard Mr. Savage talking to my parents about how the show would mostly focus on finding a legendary monster-sized crocodile in Cuba instead of the injured crocodile. How ridiculous! We all have the animal safety and She's being a little dramatic because I can't really read. She wants to win on her game. Well, I'm here to read. Oh no. Can you be a little quiet, Ling? Would mostly focus on finding a legendary monster-sized crocodile in Cuba instead of the injured crocodile. How ridiculous! We all have the animal safety in mind. Even Mr. Savage, Sparrow said with confidence. I continue looking out the window, not wanting to think about Mr. Savage anymore. With a few bumps, thanks to turbulence, we landed. How big do you think the crocodile is? I asked Faraday as I tried to get my luggage from the overhead compartment. Faraday shrugged. Reach over and grab my bag for me. Yeah, no idea. Maybe 10 feet? Dad Dad is better at guessing size than I am. But it definitely but it definitely didn't seem big enough to be that mega croc. Mr. Savage keeps going on about. Outside the plane, a pig production bus was waiting for us. I saw Farai take his cell phone out, holding it up in the air while we walked towards the bus. No bars already? How am I going to let my fans know about their adventure? He sighed. I laughed. Barry considered himself an influencer on social media and liked to keep his fans up to date. I went ahead and checked my phone too. I had only one fan, Alexi, but that was all I needed. But no bars for me either. Darn. I climbed into the bus and took up a whole row as I got ready for the long ride ahead to the coast. I planned to study up on crocodiles with a book I brought with me. But before long, I was fast asleep. A joint of the bus snapped me awake. I stretched and peered out the window. It was a blur of green as countryside whooshed by. My mom poked her head up over the seat in front of me. Sorry guys, Selena's being a little loud. If you hear some noises out there, it's probably Ling or someone else making noise. Okay. Sorry. Good, you're awake. We're almost there, she said before ducking back down. Every time we rescue an animal, I always try to learn as much as I can about it. I cracked open I cracked open my notebook and jotted down a few things I learned from my book before I drifted off. Finally, the bus lurched to a stop, and we all got off. I took my bag and handed them off to a crew member standing near a boat. This was how we were getting to our final destination, an archipelago or chain of islands in the southern part of Cuba. I looked outside the mangrove hanging either side of the channel and remember how Farai once said that they are hardly survivors. With their long webs of roots submerged in murky water, these beautiful trees thrive in conditions that would quickly kill most other plants. They really are true survivors and home to such an incredible diversity of creatures. Here is the animal. This is the animal that Andriana jotted down, the American crocodile. And she jotted down some things. I'll read them for you, okay? The American crocodile. Males can weigh over 1,000 pounds. Female, up to 400 pounds. Pretty shy creatures can lay up to 50 eggs. 50 eggs at a time. Biggest threat, loss of habitat, and legal killing. Night had fallen by the time our boat docked at the floating boat hotel. Our journey to come to the home of the injured crocodile had taken all day. We stayed at the boat hotel for the next week, as we tried to locate our croc. As the adults got busy setting everything up, Farai and I went to our room to sleep. For the rest of the night, I plopped down on the bed, and looked around my room, realizing it didn't look that different from other hotels we stay in. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have known we were floating in the water. Ling's being a little loud. She's playing her game. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of my favorite breakfast, bacon and waffles. I shot down my bed and over to the window to soak in the orange pink sunrise. From the second floor of the Bell Hotel, you can see for miles. It was then that it dawned on me how utterly alone we were.
No, you never got me. You never catch me.
I couldn't even see. I couldn't even see another boat. The hotel was docked on the edge of the channel near a large cluster. Near a large cluster of trees. The water was so calm. It reflected the sunrise's rays like glass from our main channel water. Many other small channels snaked in different directions, leading deeper into the dense forest. There were so many paths to take and explore. I could hear the chittering of birds hidden in mangroves, branches, almost like they were calling to me. I took a deep breath in, smiled and headed downstairs to start the day. Don't be a little loud.
Okay.
Okay, don't be a little loud, okay? I'm reading, okay? Almost like they were calling to me. I took a deep breath in. I said that already. Smiled and headed downstairs to start the day. So what's the plan for today? There I asked our parents. Bits of bacon coming out of his full mouth as he spoke. Very. Oh yeah, another new word. Another word. Right there, that's the word. Oh, I can't really show you. Right there, that's the word. That's the word that we don't know. Whenever I show you, always show this backwards. Always show backwards. And it means, on the back it'll tell you what it means. Of the word you don't know on this book. It means that where's your manners? Very. Where's your manners? Manners, please, our mom said. His face reddened as he mumbled, sorry, and wiped his mouth with a napkin. Dad smiled. Well, we're all going on a test run of our equipment. We need to make sure our snorkeling gear works. It doesn't have any leaks. I didn't pack any snorkel gear, Farai and I said in unison, suddenly feeling very unprepared. How could we not have thought to bring our stuff? Mom laughed. No, don't worry. We have a new snorkel and dive gear that the network provided. It had the show's logo on it and everything so we can all match. Mr. Savage opened the door. A cup of coffee in one hand. He lived on the stuff. Is it lived or lived? I think lived on the stuff. And a big rolling bag in the other. Here are the stars. Hope everyone slept well, he boomed. Here are the stars. Hope everyone slept well, he boomed. He set his coffee right down and lugged the big bag onto a chair. Right. So outside we have all the gear you need to test this morning. Once you're done with breakfast, I want the family and the safety divers to get geared up in the scuba stuff first. Connor, as lead sound producer, you're in charge of making sure these fancy microphone face mask works. Connor was our sound producer at Scared Sanctuary in Zoological Park. He helped out with the YouTube show and set up the sound for the educational presentation in the zoo. Connor had been part of our team for what felt like forever. He and Farai were practically best friends because they both like big cats and bird watching. On it, boss! Connor said in his Australian accent. I don't know Australian accents, okay? He liked Mr. Savage.
Happy snake.
He,
So,
like Mr. Savage,
so
also seemed to live on coffee
cute.
and banana bread. That was one of the reasons I liked him. He always had snacks in his pocket, and he sometimes let me have some. Snacks like the last chocolate muffin he had on his plate. Connor saw me eyeing it, let out a chuckle, and passed me a chunk to it. That's all you get, you dingus. I smiled and reached over to grab the butter and slather the muffin with. As I shoved the muffin in my mouth, Barry grabbed my hand and said, Connor, stop feeding her. We need to get ready. He tugged me out of my chair and towards the gear Mr. Savage had put down nearby. Oi, I need to eat too. Oi, oi. What's the word oi? I want to know what the word oi means. They didn't say anything about oi. I think oi means yes. Yes, I need to eat too. Take your time, Connor, said between mouthfuls. Manners, Connor, Fair teased and stuck out his tongue. Fair stop us sassing the poor guy and let him eat with the rest of the adults, our mother said, drinking her orange juice. Para had stopped listening as he rummaged through the bag with the new gear. He threw a wetsuit and a bag at me without any warning, so I dropped both things. I grumbled as I picked up the stuff and headed upstairs after Farai to change. Not going to lie.
Please, come on!
We looked pretty darn professional in our new spiffy suit. Spiffy gear. Hey kids! We heard Connor yell from the boat docking station.
Something's broken.
On the other side of the kitchen. Meet me by the boats for the trail to dive. We didn't need to die it twice. We dashed towards his voice to meet up with him. And the rest of the crew, our parents, were also in their wetsuit now, sitting by the scuba tanks as the crew member helped strap their tanks on. Another busied themselves with tightening the full face mask on us. I have been scuba diving since I was 10 years old, and I had my junior open water certification, but I had never worn a mask with a microphone before. She's also watching. Please be quiet.
Because I'm walking downstairs.
Yeah, sure, Lane. You can watch downstairs. It's the best place. But I had never worn a mask with a microphone before. It couldn't be that different, right? I started to take the microphone mask out of the bag it came in. Connor plopped it down next to me, smiling his big flashy smile. Kitty's with us now. Oh, hi. Let's read. Okay, I'll plop him right here. You stay there and read with us, and you stay here and watch with us. All right? You're here. You okay? You're here to watch us record. It couldn't be that different, right? I started to take the microphone out. Oh, I said that. Connor plopped it down next to me, smiling his big flashy smile, and said, "Not so fast, Adriana. You've never put one of these on before, so I'm in charge of making sure you're comfortable with it." He took the bag out of my hand and pulled it out a glossy black and blue mask that would cover my eyes and nose. eyes, and nose. See this? That's the button. You want to hit the button. You want to hit whenever you want to talk to people and have people to hear you. I nodded. You can squeeze your nose like you would with a regular mask. So if you want to equalize your ears as you dive deeper so they don't hurt, you can push the mask up so it hits your nose. Connor explained. Hey, Vin, how long is going to be the video? Good question, little unicorn cat or kitty. Your name is actually Heather. Okay, Heather. Yes, how long? That's a good question. It may take about, I don't know. It's gonna be pretty long. Yeah. Pretty long? Okay. Vin, start reading! Alright. Connor explained in scuba diving lingo. Equalizing means to relieve the building pressure between the inside your ears and surrounding water. If you dive without equalizing your ears, it could hurt really bad and you can damage your hearing. Oh no, that sounds bad. I know, Kitty. I know, Heather. It sounds really bad, okay? You stay here and listen. Alright. I nodded. I'm a pro, Connor. Don't worry. I laughed. I know. Just remember to breathe normally, okay? It might get a little sweaty if they're in there around your mouth, but you should be fine. I pulled the mask over and tugged at the straps to make it tight around my face. I gave everyone a thumbs up. And saw Mr. Savage walk towards us. Alright, is everyone ready for the test dive? Mr. Savage asked. We all gave the okay sign, and he gave us one back. Whenever you're ready, just go to the bar and meet your safety divers there. We'll run some tests to make sure you can hear you. You crystal clear up here, and then you guys can come back and test the snorkel gear. So they're testing the dive gear first. Safety divers always dove with us to keep us safe in case of an emergency. Like our air tank springing a leak. They stay close enough to help if anything went wrong, but far enough away to not be in the shot. Farrah once said he wanted to be a safety diver when he grew up because they can also volunteer to be part of emergencies, rescues, and investigative operation. We gave one another a kiss on the cheek as we did it before every venture, and then look at the water below. Kitty, don't look at the water below. We're not swimming. I know. Or diving. But I want to do what the book says. Fine. Our parents were the first to dive down, followed by Farrah and then me. Woohoo! I dived down in the ocean water. Kitty! This is not actual water. We're on the bed. Oh, sorry. Okay, listen. Alright. I released the air in my scuba vest, which was keeping me afloat at the surface, and let the weight in my vest take me under the water. As I began to sink under the surface, I felt water suddenly rush into my mask. That wasn't supposed to happen. My first instinct was to panic. But I quickly pushed through those thoughts away and filled my scuba vest with air again to pop back up to the surface. and I waved my hands frantically to signal something was wrong. Suddenly, I felt myself being yanked back to the dock. Are you okay? Connor asked. What happened? I tried to talk, but he shook his head and took the mask off. What did you say? I couldn't hear you through the mask. I don't know. It just started filling with water, I said. A crew member radioed down to my family to let them know I was experiencing technical difficulties, but was fine. Connor explained the mask to see if there was anything wrong, then looked at me for a quick second, before reaching both his hands behind his head and shaking loose his ponytail. I don't have a ponytail. He handed his hair tie to me and said, It's your hair. Your long hair is getting in the way of the mask, forming a proper seal around your face. Tie it up with this. Thanks, Collar, I said as I pulled my hair back and made a quick brad. I looked at his shoulder-length hair and said, Wow, your hair is almost longer than mine. Almost long. That means it's not quite as long. It's like almost it's both it's like their hair is like almost the same, except he's almost taller. Or it's like he's like right here. That means he's almost taller. The length was fine, but Connor's ponytail is almost long. He handed me my mask back and winked. You're just jealous of my beautiful looks. I coughed out a laugh and readjust the mask back to my face. All good, Connor asked. I gave him the okay sign and jumped back into the water. Kitty, don't jump back into the water. This is not water. Sorry. Again. This time, when I dove down, no water came into my mask. I slowly sunk to the bottom near the big metal structures that kept the boat hotel above the water. Can you hear me, Adriana? A cracky voice came through the mask. It sounded like Farai. He waved at me through the crystal clear teal water. I remembered to hit the button and replied, loud and clear. Testing, testing. This is topside. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? I heard Connor say. One by one, we let him know we can hear him perfectly. The next voice we heard over our headsets was Mr. Savage, telling us to swim around the hotel to make sure our gear felt uncomfortable enough and to stay alert for interesting wildlife. Alright, Vallejo family, we want to show off Cuba's pristine marine habitat to the viewers. That means we're looking for beautiful coral, dramatic overhangs. We're looking for colorful animals, big fish. And this place is ripped with sharks, Mr. Savage said into our sound system. I want Julo and Elvian to talk about what they see. And kids, I want you to inject your enthusiasm. Oh, Kitty! Heather! Into whatever they point out. We want excitement. Don't be afraid to play up being scared when a scary shark or monstrous eel comes out to play. The habitat in front of us was far from scary. The coral reef, vibrant with life, was the healthiest I had seen while out diving. Small schools of colorful fish darted in unison between the coral that swayed gently with the current, and bigger fish lazily eyeing them for a potential meal. I kept my eyes out for flamingo tongues, one of my favorite small animals in the western Atlantic Ocean. That means they're in the Atlantic Ocean. It was like the coral reef was listening to my wishes, because on the delicate sea fan was a cluster of flamingo tongues. That was what Adriana was looking for. I hit the microphone button and exclaimed, Mom! Dad! Farai! Check out these beautiful flamingo tongues. I saw Mom turn around instantly and gave me a thumbs up. Flamingo tongues are the snail that eats away soft coral. Like the sea fan rests on. Ooh, I like flamingo tongues too. They look beautiful. I know, kitty. Like the sea fan rested on. I love their bright pink and orange color and their cool black spots. The most fascinating things about these small is that this brightly colored part of them isn't their shell at all. It's actually the snail's soft tissue, which wraps around their entire shell. As we swam to the front part of the hotel, near where we had first arrived, we could suddenly hear a lot of noise from the boat above. It sounded like running. Was something wrong? As we swam in the front part of the hotel, near where we had first arrived, we could suddenly hear a lot of noise from the boat above. It sounded like running. I said that already. Hey, topside! This is Julio, is everything okay? We hear a lot of noise. We hear a lot of noise from above us, our dad asked. Here's a flamingo tongue animal. That's a flamingo tongue. Oh, I'll read what they said. Flamingo tongue snail. Flamingo tongue's bright colors act as a warning to potential predators. Their coloring acts as a kind of stop sign to say, "Don't touch me, I'm poisonous." These snails feed on soft species of coral, like sea fans and whipped coral. They prefer the warm waters of the western Atlantic Ocean. There was silence for a minute or two, and we all stopped swimming, waiting for an answer. Our parents floated a bit closer to us, each holding one of our hands. "Hey guys, we have a big figure coming your way," Mr. Savage finally said over the radio. "We can't tell what it is, and we are trying to identify it. Can you see it? It's just ahead of you." The safety divers formed a protective circle around us as they talked through sign language. The water visibility was a little murkier on this side, but it wasn't impossible to see. "Oh yes! Oh there, yes! I can see a big slow-moving creature coming our way." "It's a manatee!" Mom exclaimed as the manatee got closer. We heard splashes above us, and it looked to see that we suddenly had two of the camera people with us. Mrs. Savage must have asked them to join us to make sure their equipment worked too. We suddenly heard Mr. Savage over our headsets, telling Mom to get closer to the manatee and talk about it. She let go of Farai's hand and swam ahead, getting closer as she explained to the camera what we were seeing. I struggled to pay attention to her as I looked at the big Italian manatee. It had dark brown eyes and winky snout with whiskers. I had never seen one up close and personal before. As I saw Dad swim to meet Mom by the camera and also narrate, I tried to remember what I had read about these manatees. They usually weren't more than 12 feet long. And this one looked smaller than that. Definitely didn't weigh as much as they usually could, which was up to 1,200 pounds. Very little is known about manatees in Cuba. I heard my dad say as the manatee went up to the surface to breathe. "Kids, do you want to say anything? Get closer. Sit closer to your parents so we can get you in the shot, Mr. Savage said. Our safety divers led us to our mom and dad. Barry hit his button before me. Hit his button. Doop. Human threats to these gentle animals include them getting caught in fishing gear, and hunting. It's legal to kill a manatee, but some people still do. Perfect. Andriana, anything to add? It seems the manatee is ready to swim off, and we want one last shot of all of you with it before it does, said Mr. Savage. This was my first big moment to speak on wild survival. I couldn't mess it up. But as I stared into the camera, I couldn't think of anything important to say. I'm sorry, I said, and Farrah pointed to the side of his mask. Oh? I had forgotten to push the microphone button. I said sorry again, this time pushing the button and telling them I had nothing. Oh, here's the manatee. Manatee. That's the manatee up close. I'll tell you facts about it. I'll tell you what they said in this book. Adult manatees weigh up to 1,200 pounds. Manatees can spend up to half the day snacking on things like algae, seagrass, and mangrove leaves. Each day, an adult manatee can eat up to 10% of its body weight. For a 1,200-pound manatee, that's 120 pounds of food. Manatees are mammals, so they must come up to the water surface, but they can hold their breath up to 20 minutes. That is long. I can't even hold up to 1 minute. I think you need to study up on your QB and wildlife, said Andriana, Mr. Savage said over our headsets. But at least we could hear you once you remember to hit your microphone button. Great gear test run. Valio clan. Now get back up here. While I work with the camera crew down there. I could feel my face heating up. My family gave one another fist pump as we made our way back up, but I couldn't help feeling disappointed that I couldn't even think of one measly manatee fact to share. I have to do better next time. Okay, so this is the end of the video. Okay, that was pretty long. Hi, I am Heather, Lang's unicorn cat. And here is, this is chapter 3. But for now, I think I should say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Meow. And I'll see you later. Bye. Bye. Thumbs up. Bye.